Smith. With regards to questions, we'll kind of get into all of that with the agenda here, but if we could just quickly kind of go around the room and do some introductions. We'll start with one of the more important people here, Rebecca.
Rebecca Nance Gonzalez with CDM Smith. I will be the project engineer.
Logan Halliday, CDM Smith.
CDM.
Yeah.
Logan Halliday with CDM Smith. I am the Rebecca of Construction Package 1.
Jason Hoffman. I helped with them get a little bit.
Michael Sloop, CDM Smith. I'm the project manager. Joel Coates, I'm with South Carolina Water and Sewer project manager.
Jackie Jackson, I'm with CDM Smith as well, and I'll be the RPR on this project.
Jose Fuentes with Park Construction, I'll be the EHS manager for this project. Chris Umber, Park Construction, Vice President.
Augie Raider, Park Construction, Pre-Construction Manager.
Austin Bailey, Park Construction, I'll be the project manager on this job.
Kelly Joyner, Park Construction, I'm superintendent.
Elias Friday, Park Construction Superintendent.
Timothy Simpson, Park Construction Foreman.
Ryan Mack, Park Construction Project Manager.
Jack Hart, Park Construction, I'll be the project coordinator.
Ron Bailey, Field Operations Manager, Park Construction.
Corey Stanford, Young Construction.
Jason with Young Construction.
Nick Taylor with Young Construction.
Good afternoon, Scott Schroyer, Executive Director with the South Greenville Water and Sewer Authority.
Hillary Lasser with USDA Rural Development.
Brian Knoll, USDA Rural Development.
Okay, we got a couple people calling in as well. Let me just call out some names, and if you could just quickly introduce yourself. Scott?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Scott Parker. I got Matt Walker, Chase Blaylock, all with Enbridge Gas.
Okay, thank you. Chris Summerlin?
I'm Chris Summerlin. I'm the Assistant Executive Director for South Greenville Water and Sewer Authority.
Katie?
I'm Katie Ryan. I'm the Senior Planner with the Town Buckner.
Bang?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bob Moore. I am with the Utilities Unit in the Encroachments Engineering section, and I am in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm with NSDOT, of course.
Thank you. Pravesh?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I am Professor Mr. Engineer from CP2, Technology Residential Control Unit.
Okay, thank you. And F&R folks?
Kyle Murphy and Willis Casel, and we are doing the inspections and testing.
Okay, thank you. And then Jason Robinson just jumped on. Jason, you want to do a quick introduction?
Yeah, just Jason Robinson. I'm with DEQ's Division of Water Infrastructure. Just the inspector as far as the funding part of the project. Nothing with the compliance or design or anything, just kind of the liaison between DWI, the funding, one of the funding agencies.
Great. Oh, and Crystal keeps walking around on me.
Hi, everyone. I'm Crystal, the Public Information Officer, Board Secretary, and Unofficial Webmaster for Seguasa. Look forward to engaging with each of you.
Thank you. Basically, the way I like to, well, actually, that was everybody, right? I'm not missing anyone. Okay. Basically, the way this is set up with the agenda, it's obviously a lengthy agenda, but we tend like to try to get everything in here in writing the first time so that you can always just refer back to this. So I apologize in advance, but a lot of this is just going to be me kind of reading through and covering the agenda. But I think we've covered the personnel information. If anybody from Seguasa or Park Construction or anybody else feels they need to be included on this agenda and is not, or if we get any of the information incorrect, please let us know and we'll get that corrected before we issue the minutes for the meeting. So that jumps us all the way to item 3.0, review of work. I guess, do you want to just quickly, before we get into the specific, or just talk a little bit about the general overview of the project? Again, I think everybody probably knows, but it can't hurt to just kind of get that recorded.
Sure. Yeah, so we're here to talk about construction package 2. I think most of the folks in the room are familiar with construction package 1.
So I'm gonna go through that one real quick to start. So that one we bid a while ago. Heron Construction was awarded that contract. It includes a couple pump stations and the force main. And that work is going to tie into the Southern Interceptor, which is the work that's included in construction package 2. So there'll definitely be some coordination with Heron. We had our monthly progress meeting with them just before this one. We had a couple other items within the bid that we ended up removing from the bid. So construction package 2 is just focused on that Southern Interceptor, which starts just east of 85, and then we'll cross 85. Young Construction is going to handle a tunnel for us under the interstate. That'll be fun. And then we'll work our way kind of weaving through some of the residential and commercial roads of Butner until we discharge it or tie back into an existing manhole for the Southern Interceptor. Project is primarily 36-inch diameter gravity sewer. A lot of it's really deep, and we might hit a little bit of rock, but it'll be good.
Okay, thanks. And actually, it just kind of reminded me, I mean, Austin, I don't know, I mean, you obviously don't need to attend the CP1 meetings, but if you're all interested, you know, so they will be held right in advance of this one. So if you want to come in and just sit and listen in, you're more than welcome, but, you know, obviously not required or obligated to.
So we get closer to some coordination items.
Okay.
We'll definitely be involved and just say, hey, we'll pop in and make sure. We'll get contacts with Aaron.
Yeah.
We'll streamline that. I know we've already talked to them a little bit. So.
Okay, yeah, and obviously it's on CDM Smith to make sure that the two projects are coordinated. So if there is something that comes up on CP1 that affects the work you'll be doing, we'll definitely let you know, and vice versa. So, but I mean, obviously, I just wanted to make sure the invitation is extended to attend the CP1 progress meeting if you're interested. All right, back to the agenda. So schedule, the notice of award was October 3rd. Notice to proceed, I guess we are going to be trying to get that done right after the meeting today. That would put substantial completion May of 2027 and final completion July 5th of 2027. There are liquidated damages as called out in the agreement. Hopefully that's a non-issue, but they are there. Communications and correspondence, CDM Smith as the owner's engineer for this project. All communication should, if come through CDM Smith or well, it should come through CDM Smith. I was going to say we should at least be included, but I mean, anything project related, you know, we should be made aware of. Contractor is not to communicate directly with the owner unless it's an event of emergency, obviously. Guys in the field, you know, something happens, you get a water line or something, you know, obviously, if it's, you know, more critical to get somebody out here from St. Austin to help, go ahead and do that, keep Jack in the loop. But obviously, you know, this isn't anybody's first rodeo, I hope. So, you know, use your best judgment there. All questions on site go to the RPR. That would be Jackie. Any correspondence, with the exception of just daily reports or field notices, should come to me. So that's things like pay applications, change order requests, anything contract related or anything like that should come to my attention just through email, and then we'll make sure CWAS is kept in state and funding agencies are kept in the loop. There will be a SharePoint site being used for submittals and RFIs. Rebecca will be getting that set up for everybody. So actually it is set up.
It is set up. Have you guys been able to work it out with your IT department?
We can if we need to. We've had some security concerns with we have to balance our SharePoint with y'all's. So what I need to do is you'll resend the invite to me. I'll have our IT guy go through and say, we talked yesterday about it. I've got another job we've got set up too. So knock it out.
But do you guys have a Procore site or anything like that you use for construction admin or anything?
We just use SharePoint for most of our files. We have our own internal SharePoint structure. It's fine. We just have to have our IT guy run through it to make sure the securities don't overlap. That's all. Okay.
All right. Project numbers, again, for pay applications and everything like that, just for tracking purposes, we do have project numbers for CDM Smith, USDA, and for the state. I don't know if there's anything specific, Mark.
25648.
25648. Okay. Applications for payment, pretty standard. We're going to be doing applications on the calendar month. So 1st to the 31st, 30th, 20th, whatever it happens to be. General process will be to sit down with Jackie, have him confirm the quantities and the amounts done for each week. As soon as, if Jackie's happy, I'll be happy. And once Jackie's happy, it can get finalized, signed by Park, and sent into C.M. Smith. Needs to be in my hands no later than the 10th of the month, though, because what is going to happen is everything will be packaged up with CP1, C.M. Smith's invoices, they'll all go into CWAS at the same time. And so just to kind of keep everything kind of together so that CWAS doesn't have to do multiple iterations of submittals to the state. We'd like to just make sure it all kind of comes through as one package. So if we could just get it to us by the 10th of the month.
It's a rare exception that if you don't get it from us on the 1st, there's a problem. Our standard rule, and seriously, our standard rule in-house, all payouts for every project out the door on the 1st of the month, period, unless something's gone wrong.
Okay.
So if you run up to, we run to the 10th, we've done something wrong on our end.
All right. And then, and so because of the way the project is being funded, what will happen is we'll go to CWAS, and CWAS will review and basically come into agreement and sign off on things, but then it goes on to USDA. Ultimately, USDA will be signing off on things prior and give approval to CWAS to go ahead and cut the checks.
One quick comment on the payouts, if I may. So, I mean, if you guys want to spend on first, that's great. Aaron has typically been giving it to us around the 10th or even a little bit later. I'm just thinking about contractually, there's a clock from when you submit it and it's approved and it's supposed to be paid. Any issue with that clock starting on the 10th, not the 1st? Since that's, we have to combine these together, all three of these. I mean, your other alternative is just submit to us on 10th.
Payments in net 30. I don't think that'll be that big a deal.
You're gonna forego 10 days at the beginning, then you're gonna get into the routine.
Yeah.
Just gotta be paid in 30.
Yeah. There you go. We should be all right.
So we'll, clock starts on the 10th.
Yeah. You'll just get ours on the 1st.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And if you would, just whenever you have that ready, just shoot it to me when we send the bill. And it usually just takes me a day. I try to keep up with most of the takeoffs through the month. So.
Yeah, the only thing about the what we do with Jack is about the 20th. I'll pull out the Excel sheet, just the progress unit prices. I will send that out to Elias. He'll start filling it out, everything, and he'll get with you on site. He'll shoot that to me. I'll go through and digitize it all. I'll send you a digital file with everything in there. You give me an email back saying yep, or call me and say, hey, we need to fix X or Y. Then once you tell me I've got that email, I package the whole thing up and I press forward and send it off.
Very good.
And that way we have a nice paper trail there now.
One question with that. Typically, with our applications going on the first, we have a cutoff for quantities of the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
If we do push to the 10th, what would your preference be as far as?
We still want to see the dates on the pay application as the 1st to the end of the month. And I understand. I mean, if you want to, I don't know if I mean, if you're only billing to the 25th, I suppose that's okay. But I mean, for CWAS's accounting purposes, we want it to be a calendar month.
Well, we could go to the 1st. I mean, we move our guy.
Yeah.
Just adjust the
There is other information regarding retainage and requirements for payment each month. One thing to keep in mind is and Jason, I'm assuming this is going to be the same case, USDA will be making quarterly check-ins on paperwork, so things like the as-built drawings, updated schedules, AIS, that kind of stuff, or actually I guess AIS is the USDA thing, but yeah, just making sure all the paperwork is being required for this type of funded project. If there's any questions, we'll be more than happy to answer what needs to be in there, but yeah, I mean, there will be quarterly check-ins to make sure that everything is being documented and paperwork as well.
That's from DWS.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Yep, okay. Any questions on the pay application or procedures for that? Changes and modifications, notify engineer and RPR of any changes that come up during the work. If there are any claims for a change in price or a change in contract time, please let us know within 30 days. It's better to let us know about a potential claim and then decide it's not a claim than to kind of come back, a year and a half from now and saying, you remember that thing back in December? Yeah, we need money for that now. So we would rather you err on the side of caution, saying this is something that may come up and we may be asking for extra time or money on it. Just so that we can get into our log notes there. We'll be tracking it as well. And if nothing comes of it, great. But yeah, it's much better than trying to get us to remember something that happened 8, 9, 10 months ago. So change orders do need to go through SIGWASA, USDA, and BWI for approval. So yeah, once we've worked through with Park on items, that doesn't mean it's done. We still need to make sure that SIGWASA and the agencies agree with that. So, and in the case that there is some stuff that comes up, we may be issuing work change directives but again, you'll be getting notice of those and all that kind of stuff. So that shouldn't be an issue. Procedures for maintaining record drawings, it's in the specs, but we want to make sure that SIGWASA gets a good set of record drawings on this. So surveying of the line as it's going in, and making sure it's documented in the field and everything. So any changes get documented in the field so that at the end of the job, we can give them a set of drawings that they can come back to in 10, 25, 50 years and know that the pipe is where we have it in the drawings. Speaking, I'm sure you guys have that same pet peeve as I do of like going to start a new job and the pipe's not where you thought it was going to be. So. Submittal shop drawings and RFIs, as far as I understand, things have been going fairly well so far with getting the submittals in to CM Smith. Rebecca, I mean, that's the case, right?
Yeah, so far they've just been emailing it. If we didn't get SharePoint set up, then you'll just post directly on there. But.
And I guess as far as the submittal process goes, I know a couple of things have already come in. I mean, also just as far as Park is concerned, how far along in the process?
First 5,000 feet of pipe will be here by the end of the week.
Okay.
We got 10 loads yesterday, ongoing from there. Precast structures are set to deliver at the first of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We should have the microtunnel submittal for 85 somewhere around the first of the year. We're working on bypass. That should be back in by the, fingers crossed, end of the week.
Okay.
Barring anything they have questions wise or having problems with their engineering, we'll get that turned back around. And then I know we're doing a few other smaller ones like ring and cover, such as that. I've got some specialty items that are out there for like bypass or not bypass, asphalt paving, some aggregates in the middle, things like that to get done. Now that we're moving with contracts and everything's finally getting signed, I's dotted and T's crossed. But we should be able to wrap up, in my opinion, submittals probably in January.
Yeah,
and get done with everything and be done. But the big ones, the manholes and the pipe, that's all the way. So that's coming.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I thought based on what I've seen. It seems as though you guys were at least halfway, if not, most of the way through the whole submittal process.
Yes,
sir. Okay, that's great. Warranties, there are a couple things that are going to be requiring warranties. That's spelled out in the specifications. Permit requirements, sediment erosion control, stormwater, wastewater collection, fast track permit. A couple of things, US Army Corps 4144, DOT encroachment permits. It's all spelled out, should all be in the specifications. If there are any questions or any concerns from Park, please bring it to CDM Smith's attention. Otherwise, we will assume you are proceeding in accordance with all the approved permits. A couple things to keep in mind. Some of these things do need to be posted at the job site. I guess you do have basically a laydown or a job site kind of set up where you're going to have trailers out there.
We won't have trailers on site. We'll have everything. Elias will keep everything on site in his truck. We do have a laydown yard that was pre-described in the bid package.
Okay.
A lot of material there. We've got copies of the erosion control he'll keep with him at all times. Should DEQ need to want to come take a look, please let us know. Elias is your first point of contact on site. That way they know he's there. He can facilitate anything they need. He'll have erosion control reports for the weekly inspections or post-rainfall inspections, and the permit he'll have, Captain's already got a laminated copy on him now, so we keep all that local.
We'll need to have the 4x8 signs hung up, project signs, along with all the Davis Bacon paperwork. It has to be hung up.
Yes, we'll get that posted. We've got a big job trailer that's gonna come out, not from a sense of like an office trailer, but we've got a supply trailer.
Like a Connex.
Yeah, that'll come out, and that'll be posted on there. Jose will make sure that keeps up to date. Jackie, if you see anything wrong with that or something funky, please let Jose know. He'll get a remedy immediately on that. As for signage, we'll get cruise pulled now. Like I say, we're moving now with final contracts being signed and everything. We'll get cruise pulled on that for submittal, get those approved, and we'll get those made. That won't take anything to get that set up. So
As far as not having just a lay down yard, not having a trailer, are you all right with just the one sign at that site, or are you going to want to see those sites moved along with the construction?
No, we usually get one big sign, lay down yard where you're not gonna see all the Davis Bacon labor. We got the signs that gives it.
Yeah.
And then I think they call for another sign somewhere, probably on the other end of the project, so it kind of defines the project area.
we can find a good spot.
Yeah, a couple spots. Have a bulletin board. Lay everything out there on a bulletin board that they can see, and it's got a glass on it, so it protects it from weather and stuff like that.
But yeah, I think, and this will be in some of the information USDA gives out, but I think they just want signs like kind of at either end of the pipeline.
So that's the big USDA sign.
Yeah.
Friends on the government.
Real quick, also Mike Snyder wasn't available today, and I think he said he might be available tomorrow. And Jackie, are you around tomorrow?
Yeah, I see he had an answer.
Okay, yeah, I need to respond back to him, but hopefully we can get it set up. You guys can meet him out there. I just want to make sure Connex box is going to go where he's okay with it.
Okay.
And Scott just says that why we can catch up after the meeting. There was some concerns the DHHS folks had about where stuff was being laid within the approved staging area. So we're going to need to work with them on that.
Joel, you aware of that? Okay.
Construction schedule, I've seen, I think you guys sent out a schedule just early this morning on things, that's the full project schedule.
We went ahead and updated that because we're taking material and things like that. This job's a little bit cart before the horse. I went ahead and put actual starts and actual finishes in there for you.
Okay.
Brought it up to speed with what we think we're going to see excavation on and the tunnels and everything else, start dates roughly on that. Given some things to change, we've got coordination between Duke Power, Railroad, DOT, all that's going on right now. But give y'all something to start working off of. If you see any problems with it, any heartburn with it, tell me. Let's look at it. Let's get it reviewed and get it fixed. So.
Okay. All right. That's good. And as far as regular work weeks for crews, is it Monday through Friday?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's 7 to
6, Ron. 7-5, 7-6.
Okay.
Yeah. And then if we got to pull a Saturday or something for some reason, how much notice do y'all need? 2 days? Week?
Can't remember what we
1
do.
week.
But I think we have it, in specs for 1 week. I mean, obviously, if it is an emergency, let us know. But if it's just catching up the schedule or something like that, then a week notice in advance would be helpful.
Yeah, just a comment, Bill, Scott, Executive Director, we're able to flex a little bit on that. 2 or 3 days ahead of time if something comes up, so just keep them in communication, and we'll be there as well. We want to see this project done successfully as well, so we'll work around that with you, okay?
Go back to talk a little bit about the look ahead.
Yeah, we do have in there. I mean, again, as you're very aware, this is going to be a very public-facing job. We will be going through people's, well, not the front here, but going across the driveways, all sorts of stuff like that. So, Crystal will be keeping the website active of how work is progressing and everything like that. So we will be asking for 2-week look aheads that Sigwasa can post to the website, just so that people know the trucks are going to start rolling through their neighborhood, that kind of thing. So if you could just be providing that kind of on a rolling basis, just so we know where you're going to be the next week and the week after, kind of thing. And it's nothing we're going to hold your feet to the fire on. Saying, oh, you said you were going to be here next Thursday, and you're not. But it is part of the public relations aspect. We don't want to be catching residents off guard when construction starts in the street. I mean, based on the interaction we've had so far on CP1, there are definitely going to be people that will be keeping track of the project as it goes on. I mean, some with a critical eye, some with a very helpful eye. So, it's just, I think it's in everybody's best interest to be open and as communicative as possible. And part of that is saying, this is where we're going to be working next.
One thing we found helpful, I've got a job we're doing downtown right now, and Monday Teams call. And if we can do that, we want to do it on a bi-weekly. We take 15 minutes out of a Monday morning and say, hey, guys, this is where we're heading. This is where we've been. Keep it short. It's just those 2 weeks. If problems have come up, I find it's helpful to have that as we go through any concerns. Like a resident has X concern. We address it right then. We move forward. That's no longer a concern. So I think if we can find a Monday morning, Tuesday morning, something, let's carve out 15 minutes, have a 2-week look ahead meeting real quick. And then that way we've got those updates flowing and keeps everything moving.
Great. Yeah.
Would you mind adding me to that list, please? Thank you.
And the communication part of it, as far as the, allowing Seguasa time limit, especially when we start shutting down roads. And I don't know, as far as, is that something that you guys will communicate with schools and let them know that bus routes are going to have to change? Fire and EMS as well.
And we'll go ahead and pull traffic control plans together. So we're going to be digging coming up on D and 8. That'll be where the first hit is, and then C Street will be probably the biggest impact to any of that. So we're deep and we're long down C Street.
And there's, I'm sure you've seen it, Austin, there's requirements in the traffic control related to how many intersections you can shut down at once, how many blocks you can shut down at once or reopen it. Yeah, just keep an eye on that. And then there's also requirements related to how often we have to repave. I realize with the wintertime, it might be a little bit difficult, but we'll work with you on that. But
we generally like to keep it tight behind us. Once we get services tied in and everything cut in, we can leave an area, get some trench patching done. One thing we do like to do, if there's any mill and overlay that has to happen, we like to try to get to the end and do the mill and overlay so we have a nice clean final product, nothing's getting driven on at the end. But we'll work through that as we go. If there's a section we can go ahead and do, we can, but that is one thing we typically like to leave towards the end of the project because it allows it to be a nicer product at the end.
We say towards the end of the...
Like on C Street, I'd like to get done with C Street if we can. It'd be trench patched for services and everything in the main line, but then get off of C Street and be able to mill and overlay whatever needs to be mill and overlaid on that. If it's the whole road or something there. That way you have a clean product. We're not running up and down anymore. We're off of it. It's a nice final.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Something like that.
Okay. A couple things to come back. Construction photography, I think that's, go ahead and get the pre-construction video of anything again. That's mostly just more protection for parks than anything else. I mean, as you guys are rolling through neighborhoods, things will be happening, but if there's something that's broken or something that's that kind of catches your eye, go ahead and make sure you have video of it before you start work so that, if homeowners, complain about a cracked driveway or a broken mailbox or something like that at the end of the job, if we have proof that you guys didn't cause it, that helps everybody out.
Our pre-con video is done. I'll get y'all a copy.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Pre-con's done. We already did our walkthrough and filmed everything, so we'll get you copies of that.
So do you guys film or do you have like a sub that you have to go around and film? You guys film? Okay. And did you try to get like houses, for example? I've seen issues where, especially when we're dealing with as much rock as we're dealing with, potential foundation cracks can happen. And whether you guys caused it or not, it's good to get it on record.
So the other thing we didn't cross into any private property, of course, but one thing we'll be doing before we do any sort of shooting or anything like that is we will have our blaster, it'll be Carolina Drilling. They're going to be doing pre-inspections for everywhere, sending out notices and all that. So that'll be its own secondary item, is we'll have a slew of pre-blast surveys done for residents. So.
We'll start test drilling right after the first of the year, and based on where the rock is, that's where that more in-depth pre-blast surveys of the houses will take place.
Yeah. And I think, do you guys provide copies of that information for us? Or? Okay, sure.
We identified a few weeks ago that there's going to be some mailboxes that are going to have to be replaced. The poles are already in bad shape. They're going to have to come out for the excavation. They're going to give them directions.
Okay.
And we'll work with the homeowners They get their mail picked up, get something, so they're not out of service or anything like that. We do that all the time with something new.
Construction material testing, special inspections. Basically the way it works, Jackie will be coordinating with Kyle or somebody at F&R as to when they need to be out to do the testing, compaction or whatnot. Just coordinate with Jackie on when you will want the testing lab out there. There is information and specs as to what will need to be tested. And then again, if there's any testings that part needs to be done at their expense. That's the way they'll do.
And the specs say 48 hours, but on CP1 so far, sometimes they were able to get called the same day and then come out. So they've been pretty responsive.
Contractors should be responsible for site safety. Again, I'm assuming you will have a safety plan put together. Anything that needs to be passed on to CDO Smith or to Seguasa for the safety plan, please make sure that gets to us. Site access and security, again, Park will be responsible for their own site security. Nothing else there. Construction work and coordination. This is some specific stuff with related to the project. Again, construction package 1 going on. If there's anything that comes up on that job that we think will be affecting Parks contract, we will let you know. And again, if there's anything that comes up, the same might affect contract.
One thing on the safety aspect, site superintendent is always first line defense, but Jose is our EHS manager. If you want to touch that real quick.
Yep. Just to go back up on pretty much the contractor safety representative that essentially would be the EHS manager, of course, like Austin said. Elias will be there every single day. So he will be the first line of defense on safety. I try to visit each site pretty much 3 times a week. I try to make it routine every single week. I go out there to spend a few hours with the guys every single time I go out there, make sure everything, do site inspections as well. We have forms and everything that, go ahead, check off everything that needs to get checked there as well. And then if you guys do end up making a site visit, wanting to check on progress of the project, we encourage that, but as well, we want to make sure that everyone is safe. So of course, coordination with the site superintendent is critical on that behalf, just in case they are blasting in that area or doing something that is of more danger. So we want to make sure that everyone, when they are going to see the site, is safe as well. We do require just standard PPE, hard hat, high vis vest, doesn't matter what color, and then protective toe shoes, whether it be boots or just regular shoes. And I know they have protective shoes that are just regular toe shoes. And of course, distinguishing factors between supervisors and the field personnel. Supervisors are in a green chartreuse vest, looks like this color, for example, and then everyone else is in orange. Or that high vis orange. So that's a very easy point. If you are visiting on site and you don't see, you're like, hey, where's the supervisor? Green vest is what you want to go look for. Other than that, coordination, like I said, communication is key on that. But if you do have any concerns or anything like that and you don't see the site supervisor or superintendent, please reach out to Ron. He's a great asset to us. And then as well as me, feel free to reach out to me at any time if you do have any concerns or anything like that on means and methods, or if you do see something, say something, please. We are very big on that as well.
And one of the reasons, guys, that we talk about this so much is, and we're adamant about it, isn't that we don't want somebody coming to the site. Please do. Please visit. Some of the equipment we have is pretty big. Blind spot's pretty big. The operator is not looking for anybody outside of his crew. He's looking for the guys he sees every day. And we say this in a room, but I've seen this almost happen. The last thing I want is somebody get hit by a turntable on a machine that could eat your car. So that's why we're kind of adamant about that. Jose is great on this. If you have any questions, any concerns, anything you see, please reach out to him, to Ron, to Liz, if myself, if you need to. But we do take it seriously about everybody going home every night. That's a big thing for us. We want you to come visit. We want you to be out there and see everything. But just please check in with the site superintendent. That way he knows you're there and the guys know to look for you.
Thank you. Other things under construction work and coordination, 11th Street, Mount Hope, and Wilkins lift stations cannot be abandoned until downstream southern interceptor has been constructed. Limits of construction, dust control, trash pickup, parking, all standard stuff, and all more detail in the specifications if you need it.
Real quick, we were talking about coordination on CP1, that force main for the Joe Key lift station ties into the first manhole you're going to be touching. So I guess we'll probably want to have a sit down with Park and talk about how all that's going to be handled. I said Park, Aaron.
Uncovering unknown utilities. If you do hit anything out there that is unexpected or not on the drawings, please let Jackie know. Again, if that turns into what is considered an emergency situation, please go ahead and let everybody know, and so we can get it addressed. Project technical discussions, we'll kind of get into some more of the project specific stuff here. Norfolk Southern Railroad crossing. I mean, Michael or Rebecca, you want to talk a little bit about that or get into any specifics about the railroad crossing?
No, I mean, also I saw you reach out to them. We'll work through all their requirements, and if you have any issues or concerns with what they're asking for, just let us know.
Let's touch base after this for a minute and talk about flagging. We've heard some things on that, so I just want to meet with y'all real fast with that discussion. Other than that, if there's any questions, Young Construction's here, so please feel free to ask. They are the experts on that. So.
Yeah, and real quick, I was going to jump up. I just thought about it, the uncovering unknown utilities. Did you guys get confirmation on the break of that telephone line, and I guess have a discussion with the sub about that?
We had heard that it had gotten restored and that she had service, and haven't heard anything else beyond that.
Okay.
We are going with our sub-bid and putting any erosion control. They should be getting a bill for it, and we'll work with them to make sure that gets handled. But
okay.
As far as we know, she's back in service and taken care of that.
Yeah, there's a temporary line that's running over top of the silt fence now. Okay. Yep.
And then also the I-85 crossing, again, I know there's been some initial discussions on that as well, but got DOT on the call. If there's anything in specific we need to get into regarding the tunnel, the crossing under I-85, I think we had back in here, there is some restrictions on the time work, on what the time of day for that, work 9 to 4. For the core drilling under 95, or 85. Was there anything else that folks wanted to bring up or discuss about that part of the project?
The 9 to 4 only pertains to work inside the right of way, correct? I mean, referring to the tunnel itself, that will be outside the right of way. Those working hours will fall under the normal.
That's my understanding, but as somebody from DOT, I don't know if you heard that, but the restriction to working 9 to 4 is just within the right of way. Is that correct?
We can follow up on that.
We'll follow up.
Trenchless method. We'll have no impact to traffic. That's kind of the whole purpose of that.
Yep. Construction plans and specifications. Rebecca's brought up some extra copies of drawings. We can distribute those after the meeting if we haven't done that already. There's again some more project-specific components that is in the specifications regarding construction sequencing. Progress meetings. We will be meeting monthly in this room, 2 o'clock on the third Tuesday of the month following the CP1 meetings. And then, there will be some additional coordination meetings. I would expect before the work at I-85 starts in earnest, we will probably want to be having a coordination meeting. And if there are any critical parts of the project, probably possibly at some of the bypassing or certainly when it comes time to start tying things in and changing the course of flow, we'll want to just make sure folks from Sigawasa are on board and everybody understands what's going on so that goes smoothly. So, we will be having a monthly progress meeting, but I would anticipate there'll be a couple other additional meetings for key components of the schedule.
We definitely want to meet, when we begin abandoning the old lift station.
Yep.
I don't know if you have had that conversation with your team or not about what you want to recover from those sites, generator, the dialers. Park will need to know what you want to retain. If they're going to just trash everything and you don't want it, so they'll need a list of what you want to recover from those sites.
Yeah, if there's any salvage items.
I think that's in the specs. Shoot.
Okay.
Yeah, some of it doesn't pertain. Oh, I mean, there'll be some model specific stuff.
Project closeout, there is going to be some paperwork and documentation that's going to be required. It's closeout. We don't obviously need to get into that now, but just be aware that there are going to be some things related to that. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and kind of jump down to 22. I'm going to go over to Brian and Hillary. I know USDA has got some things they want to run through as far as funding.
There's a really short narrative version, and then you're the one that really got the big version because we've already been through this with the engineer and the owner, and it's a lot of paper, so we didn't make many of those. The first page of the kind of the narrative here just talks about roles and responsibilities. I'm not going to read this. We're all been through many contracts together, so it's just general understanding of general roles. The main role for us as the funding agency is kind of to be making sure that what we pay is per the contract. We do have a financial requirement to make sure the owner's budget matches ours. We do have to do inspections, specifically the substantial completion inspection. And Hillary is the main point of contact. So Hillary is really our financial side. She's the one that runs all the pay apps through us. I'm on the engineering side, look at all the construction contracts, change orders, and everything else like that. But she is the main face of our agency for this project. Second page talks about under section 1, notice to proceed. Everything's been checked there. I think that's going out today. For processing payments, Bill's already mainly covered all this. The main thing we have there is the flap there has all the posters we need. We do like to see all those up before the first pay app comes up. Coordinate with, I guess, the owner of where to put those project signs, because we do like to see them in a visible spot. And then all the other stuff, all that other signage for your labor needs to be somewhere that you can, if someone from the Department of Labor came, you can go and point to where it's at. So we do inform the Department of Labor that this contract was led.
Yeah. Most of the time we'll keep them in Conex boxes or about Conex boxes and lay down the yard, so that way it's one set location, everyone knows where it's at.
That is the common thing if we don't have a trailer. As far as in the thicker documents here, there is if you have a contractor, a sub over 100,000, we've narrowed it from 3 to 1. So there's one form that they have to give us. It's the lobbying form. So there's just kind of a template in there of the information we need from that sub. And Hillary does need to get a copy of the 1940-SQ, which is basically they didn't lobby to get this contract. The other thing in here is American Iron is, well, before that, the mitigation measures. I know we kind of closed our eyes, the government wasn't here, but we are glad that y'all stepped up and got the clearing done, because that was probably the biggest mitigation measure that is in effect right now. So if there's any more trees that cut out there, that is a issue, at least until March. Or you can go through Fish and Wildlife and figure out if there's bathymetry. All right, so that was the biggest one. The other mitigation measure is there's an inadvertent discovery clause. So if you are digging and you do find remains, you do find something, there is in the spec a whole list of things we have to do with SHPO. We are kind of the point of contact in there, but I'm sure the state, they're a part of this too. We haven't had that come up, but I mean, if that does happen, there's detailed expectations of you just can't ignore it. So you have to make sure we follow that. Contract does have American Iron and Steel. Thing I like to remember that does include precast. So if you just do the SRF version of the certification, that's fine with us too. If not, we do have a copy that USDA has. Eventually, probably, I don't know, a few months from now, we do ask for a kind of a basically all those certifications need to be a part of this middle to make sure before you get them on site, everything's AIS compliant. And then us as an agency has to ask for all the information you've had probably 3 or 4 months from now to see how things are going. We do have to package that up and send it to DC, and they kind of give us here's some pointers on how to make it better. But at the end of the day, it's up to the owner to have a final AIS certification folder. So if someone in DC wants to come audit this, there's a folder on their desk. That is something that we do require before final payment, is making sure that all those certifications are there. And there's a de minimis clause. The amount of pipe in this thing, I don't think there's much AIS to worry about. And some of the other things in here, there's some examples of our expectations for change orders. There's a list for what we need for final closeout. And the idea is this is kind of our standard across the state, so it's how we kind of do every project. But I think Billy covered most everything, so my part was pretty short. Is there any specific questions for us as, I guess, kind of the primary funder on this part? But honestly, our main thing is if someone's not getting paid, that is our main focus. It means that it didn't get to us. Because Hillary does process things very quickly. So it's not on our desk to get things out. This is all loans, so it's really, we don't have to order money. We don't have to wait for anything. We just have to get the approval done, which means we have to get it. So it's breaking down. We just need to have that conversation because I know construction works based on getting paid on time. All right, that's all I got, Bill.
Okay, thanks. Jason, did you have anything you wanted to add for DWI?
Yeah, I'll just go through a real quick spiel. Yeah, again, Jason Robinson, DWI, being inspector for the funding agency. Like William said, I will attend probably every 4 months, do an inspection. I need to do a little determination, and maybe every 3 months, but yeah, every 3 or 4 months. Typically, I like to do it on the same day as the progress reports, just to make it, progress meetings to make it easier for everyone. We'll have to do some coordination on that since I am also the inspector for the other contract, which will be having their progress meetings right before. So you have to do a little coordinating to do that. But since we're kind of living in the digital world, I'll try to, things that I'm looking for in the inspections are the shop drawings, daily logs of the inspectors, testing reports, as-built. Try to see as much of that as I can, get it electronically and go ahead and review it prior to the inspection, just to make it move along faster. And, mostly once we go do the inspection, just kind of go out and do a quick site visit just to see the progress and everything. Other duties of mine, of course, the Davis-Bacon, and we'll be paying attention to that. We'll want to look at the Davis-Bacon certified payrolls regularly just to make sure those are up to speed. Just want to make sure that, when the payrolls are done, make sure that the job classifications that are listed are the job classifications that are listed in the Davis-Bacon documents. Also be looking at the change orders, checking for eligibility there. I don't actually do the disbursement request. That's done through our grants management unit, but oftentimes they'll get with me if they have any questions regarding that. And of course, the disbursement request submitted through our newly made EBS system. And I think that's about it. AIS is not required for this project as far as the ARPA funding. I know it is required for the USDA. That's about it. I would ask, want to make sure the Davis-Bacon signage is up prior to any construction beginning. So we just ask to get that up as soon as possible. And if possible, get a picture taken and send that to me so I can check that off. And just a final reminders, this is ARPA funding, and that does expire in December 31st, 2026. So any disbursements for ARPA, need to get in well before that so they can get processed and issued before the December 31st, 2026 deadline. And I think that's about all I got. I will send out an email to those folks just to have we've got a change order checklist, project closeout checklist, just so that'll go ahead and be out there. So we need to use those. But yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. Thanks, Jason. Yeah, so I mean, again, obviously a lot of paperwork to stay on top of during the project. If there are any questions come up, certainly reach out to CDM Smith. We'll help you with that. But yeah, generally, you know, the certified payrolls, the AIS documentation. Usually, you know, there's usually one or two hiccups on every job, but we can certainly work through that. I think the other thing, just touched on briefly, but just make sure any subcontractors, we just need to make sure we've got a list of any subcontractors. I think hopefully, I don't think it's going to be a big list, but if you do get halfway through and need to bring somebody else in, just make sure that the proper paperwork and documentation for bringing them on board has been completed. All right. Discussion of other items. I'm just going to see, Michael, did you have anything you wanted to run through real quick? I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think the only thing that came up or came to mind is similar to CP1, we'll have a change order that will initiate at the beginning of the job. Park's aware of everything. Nothing has changed from any of that, but similar to CP1, it'll be a deduct. So just a heads up to USDA and DWI that will be submitting that paperwork to you.
Rebecca, you got anything for you?
Catching you off guard.
No. Did you want to talk about the soil testing after or? Okay. Then nothing for me.
Okay. Jackie?
I'm good.
Okay. Great. Anything from, we'll go to Austin. Anything on Park side that we haven't brought up? Anything for you? Okay.
I got something on the superintendent. The contact info is right, but the name is wrong. It'll be Elias Frare, ELIAS FRAIRE. All the contact info is right. We just had the wrong name there.
Okay. Joel, Scott, anything?
Yeah, as far as the owner, let me just yield to Chris Sutherland, who's on the line, see if Chris has any discussion items or other items. Chris,
anything from you?
No, I don't have anything. So I'm sorry, Scott, I couldn't hear you if you said anything.
No, he was just checking with you, Chris.
Oh, okay. No, I don't have any additional comments.
Okay, thank you.
Crystal, any comments?
Nope, good to go.
Joel?
Nope.
All right, well, just on behalf of the organization, we just want to say thank you. We're glad that you're here. We look forward to a great project and getting done on time and on budget.
All right.
Ahead of time.
Yeah, well,
that works too.
And safely.
All right. Is there anything else anybody wants to bring up? We'll leave. Floor is open.
I have two questions, actually. First one is there was mention of retainage being 5%.
Yes.
Is the 5% going to be 100% throughout the project? Oftentimes we see at some point the retainage is dropped to 2.5%.
I got to double check.
That's one of our issues is it's still substantial.
Okay.
So it's,
Until substantial.
Yeah. I've crossed that a lot.
I was wondering if it would be a funding source that generated that.
Yeah.
The other question is regarding payment. Will payment be made electronically, or is it going to be checked? Okay.
The payment comes from Seguasa after all the items are cleared. I would have to just check with our finance director and get back to you on that. If you have something specific in mind.
In today's world, we've seen a lot of things double checked and that sort of thing. So if payments could be made electronically, I think that would our preference.
Yeah, we've just seen that a lot of municipalities now go with ACH. It's just easier. It expedites the payment. It doesn't get lost in the mail. We don't have to pick it up.
I would just ask that somebody from your firm just contact CDM Smith through me, and we'll get you set up with the finance director and get that worked out. All right.
Anything else?
Anything from Enbridge gas line crossing? I know they wanted some equipment from us and a few other things. I know they're on the line. If they've got anything for us, we're all here. Love to address any of their concerns while we're all sitting here.
So Enbridge gas line, any questions, any things you want to bring up to Park regarding the crossing of the gas line?
So on our end of it, I think we're good. We just need, do y'all have any kind of timeline on when do you think you'll be near our gas line?
It's gonna be a little bit, that's at the top end of the job, you're above the railroad bore, so it's gonna be 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, it'll be a while. We can definitely reach out month plus when we're getting close and give y'all plenty of heads up on when we're getting, we want you.
That sounds good. Hey, so we're probably gonna email, Chase, whose email do you have?
The Park Construction.
Park Construction, if somebody can send us like an overview of what this what this pipeline looks like. I know y'all keep talking about subdivisions, just to make sure we don't have any distribution gas lines in those subdivisions. We just want to verify that too.
Sure, I've got the email chain on that. I'll send you a plan profile of where we're working, what it is. The biggest thing we'll need to set up is for the foreseeable future is access for our boring contractor, what you need for cushion over the main so we can cross it with equipment and supplies.
Yes, sir.
That'd be the biggest thing. So I'll go ahead and circle that in an email chain to y'all and we'll get that squared away.
Okay, and then the only thing, we're probably going to email you a blast plan. I don't know if y'all have done any kind of rock testing, just in case when you get near our gas line, if you run into rock, we actually have a blast plan you have to follow once you get near us.
Perfect. That'd be great to have. We're going to start test drilling soon, so.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, all right, so we'll create an email with you and we'll start coordinating that part of it and we'll get you taken care of, boss man.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, thank y'all. Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks, Scott.
Thank y'all. Yeah, thank y'all.
So my only question is for you guys, are you gonna start your meetings in January or February?
I would assume January wants to be a start date because we're planning on exiting in January if we can.
Okay.
Yeah, and my understanding is you guys are ready to hit the ground and.
Yes, sir. 5-tier, like I said, 5-tier manholes are set to deliver first of the year, bypass start going in first of the year. Once we get through some other comments, get the move.
We've got the notice to proceed printed out, so we plan to execute it right after the meeting.
And the important person that signed that is sitting right
Yeah. I figure that's the only thing that gets here.
Anybody who needs to sign the notice to proceed needs to hang out after the meeting for just a few minutes. We need a signature. All right.
Are there any others on the line?
Yeah.
I think was attending.
Yeah, anybody from Butner, anybody else who called in have anything they wanted to add before? Hear nothing? Okay. All right. I appreciate everybody coming today. Look forward to having a great project with all of you. Again, any info or any questions, anything, feel free to come to me, Jackie, Rebecca, Michael, if you absolutely have to. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a great project. Thank you all.
Thank you.